games developers all across Europe, Middle East, Africa, and for the past week I've been going to see quite a few games developers in India as well. I've had the fortune of meeting quite a few of you in the audience already. And what I've noticed whilst I've been travelling around is a lot of the challenges that people are facing in moving to developing games for the mobile or the casual space are very similar in India to they are in the rest of Europe as well. So this makes it great for me because the presentation I have is really an introduction into how you as developers trying to make your product stand out from the crowd or trying to target new platforms is how to get you into that space as easily as possible and really make you successful using our products as well. So let's start with the presentation here. So most of you may be familiar with the company name Autodesk, and you'll probably associate us with the AAA games market. Obviously we have film and effects tools, we have visualization tools as well, but really within games, historically we've had lots and lots of success servicing that AAA crowd. So people developing for consoles, for PC, big publisher developed projects with multi-million dollar development budgets. But over the past year or so, I've noticed quite a shift in the way that our customers want to use our tools or are trying to use our tools. And instead of everybody trying to bring out the next console game, I've noticed more and more developers trying to develop a quick game on the iPhone or try to develop something which they can distribute on Xbox Live or the PlayStation network. So throughout the presentation I'm going to be talking about mobile and casual quite heavily because this really is a new audience for us. We're seeing quite a resurgence in people that want to develop in this space. So by casual, I mean games that are really being distributed on the Xbox Live, on the PlayStation Network, Steam. So these are digital distribution platforms, but these are games that are predominantly running on quite high-end hardware. With mobile, what I'm really referring to is handsets, things like the iPhone, the Android, the Windows phone device that we've just seen a presentation of as well. So new markets, new technologies for us. So with that in mind, Autodesk have pretty much had to adapt their business model. So instead of us relying on AAA business, really what we want to do is help customers that are trying to develop for mobile and casual. So this has meant a couple of changes. This has meant really some new products, and by that I mean some new technology which you can get access to, and that's what I'm going to be spending a bit of my talk about today covering. And then some new pricing options as well. So this is offering people some more flexibility in how they work with our products. Now this is particularly relevant to people starting up, people new to 3D, people that want to ramp up the scale of their production perhaps. And you'll find that now we're offering people much easier access to our product line than you've ever had before. So why would people want to look at our products in the first place, especially if you're developing for the mobile platforms? Well, if you're developing a mobile game at the moment, I took a look on the App Store a couple of weeks ago and got some numbers of the amount of games, pure entertainment titles, that are currently available purely on the iOS platform. And as you can see, we're up to over 130,000 of those. So the marketplace is incredibly cramped. It's very, very difficult to stand out from the crowd, and it's very difficult to maintain the levels of engagement with your customer that will ultimately lead to lots of downloads. It gives you the flexibility to choose a free-to-play model and make money off advertising revenue, or it gives you the ability to justify a premium price point for your game, you know, in a crowd of apps that are 99 cents or less. So whenever I see a customer new to the mobile space or just tooling up for the first time, they often come to Autodesk, one of our partners, and say, you know, how do we distinguish our game? And really it comes down to the visual fidelity of your game. You know, gameplay is paramount, but you know, gameplay is something that you have to have downloaded the game to try out and get a sense of. But with the visuals of a game, very quickly it can make a very arresting display on the screen, and people will quite often use that as the reason to download the app in the first place. So visuals is what Autodesk is all about, it's what we're good at, and this is really where our products come into play. It helps you raise the quality level of your game, so it gives you that AAA spin without you really needing to have access to AAA budgets. So just to back up what I'm talking about, over the past few years I've seen the AAA business that I go and deal with really fall away, and that's being matched by the number of customers developing casual and mobile titles. So now what I'm seeing really in the industry is when it comes to AAA, especially when customers are developing for the next gen devices like the Xbox One that we saw here, the budgets are massive and they're relying on current IP that's been successful already. So it's very hard to break into a market in AAA. So that's why a lot of people that haven't had $50 million development budgets just aren't bothering with that marketplace at the moment. The new consoles are coming in and we are seeing a bit of an uptake again in the AAA business, but it really is at that ultra high budget end. On the other side of the spectrum, we've got people working on developments of sort of $50,000 or even less, you know, small teams, crowds of people of maybe 10 people or less, maybe 2 people, maybe an individual developer trying to create a game that's going to stand out. So it's this mobile and social peak that's really coming to the fore now, and this is where we're trying to adapt and trying to help our customers best. So, what I want to do is introduce initially a new product from Autodesk that is designed to help indie and casual developers really get into this space easily. And about 2 months ago we announced a new product, and this is called Maya LT. It's based on Maya 2014, which is our high-end product that services visual effects, games, film, TV broadcasting, etc. But this is a new product that's being headed up by a games industry-specific development team that is ensuring that the product itself is purely catering for people trying to create content for a 3D game. So, an entirely new product, Maya LT, the LT stands for light, because it is a subset of the functionality of our higher-end products. It being a subset of the functionality means it's a much easier to afford price point in the first place, but it will give you all the tools that you need as a developer to be successful in creating a 3D game. So with new developers, we have new needs. So as you can see in the AAA space, we still have our high-end Maya 3ds Max motion builder products. You may be familiar with the entertainment creation suites, which bundle these technologies together and help you develop AAA content very, very easily. On the opposite side of the spectrum, not a lot of people are familiar with our number of consumer products. So we have a number of apps available on various different platforms, things like the iPad or the iPhone or Android tablets, for example, that help you quickly create 3D content. And I'm going to touch on some of this a little bit later on in the talk. And these are often free or, you know, in that 99 cents range. So you'll find that these are another series of tools that you can leverage to quickly get into 3D. When it comes to professional indie, this is where our Maya LT product sits. So this is for people that want to create a game, want to create a commercial success, want to build something that's going to stand out in the crowd and help generate them some money, and ideally lots and lots of downloads and all the stuff that goes along with a successful product. So Maya LT has features geared purely to do that. So for example, we have advanced modeling. So the polygonal modeler from Maya is available to you to quickly create very nicely detailed 3D assets. We also have a shader system, which I'll show in a moment, to help you build all the shaders that you need to make your surfaces come alive, to make the graphics look rich and compelling and engaging. We have a number of tight workflows with other products and with different engines as well. Again, I'll cover that. So it just makes it easy to get assets out of Maya LT and into a runtime environment, which you can then deploy onto lots of different platforms and applications very easily. We have a full animation system, so people new to 3D will find it very easy to build a rigged character, a rigged animal, and just bring that directly into their game as an animated entity which you can then control around. And finally, we have some very nice lighting and texturing solutions in there as well. So you don't have to rely too much on the real-time lighting nature of engines. You can bake a lot of detail into your textures directly using the product, thus relieving the GPU or the processor or the memory of your device and trying to do a lot of this stuff in real time. So as I say, the polygonal modeling tools, this is just a screenshot of what is available to you. We don't have facility for other modeling categories such as NURBS or paint effects or other features available in Maya, but what we do present you is a simple, easy easy-to-use interface into all of the polygonal modeling tools available to a Maya artist. So if you're familiar with grabbing a vert, moving it, taking a polygon, extruding it, all of this functionality is available to you to create polygon models from scratch within the product. When it comes to workflows, Maya LT supports FBX as its interchange file format. So FBX is a geometry, animation, texturing, basically a file format that can cater for anything that you create within the package. And it enables you to bring that out into game engines directly. It enables you to bring them into other 3D applications. It's essentially your export out of the product. If you're a Unity user, you'll be glad to hear that we have a very tight integration with that engine, and we actually have a one-click workflow so that anything you've built within Maya LT, you just click Send to Unity, and everything will just be brought out into that engine directly, so you don't have to worry about exporting. If you are taking content out for another engine or for use in another product, you can just export out as FBX, and any asset up to 65,000 polygons, any individual object with that level of complexity, can be modelled and brought out of LT to go forward. With animation, the animation tools, so the function curves and the various animation tool sets that are available to an experienced Maya animator are all available. And we've provided an IK system called Human IK, which again I'll show you a little bit later on. And this just makes it very easy to create controllable, posable characters without needing to spend lots and lots of time building custom rigs, scripting, going into the deep elements of Maya that you would need to do normally. So this is a very simple solution to quickly getting animated content. And finally, when you come to try and make your geometry look as rich and detailed as possible, you're going to want to start to work with shaders and normal maps and ambient occlusion passes and all the other techniques that modern GPUs make available to a mobile user, for instance. So we share the viewport technology of Maya, and this is viewport 2.0. It's a very advanced DirectX shaded view or an OpenGL shaded view that enables you to look at your content in exactly the same way as your game engine is going to display it on device. It can handle up to DX11 shaders, for instance, so displacement, tessellation, motion blur, depth of field, high dynamic range bloom, everything like that can be displayed directly in the viewport. We also supply you with something called shader effects, which you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. And shader effects is essentially a node-based approach to building up these complex shaders. So again, you don't need to be a high-end texture or shader programmer to start working with images of the kind of fidelity that you can see in the screenshot here. It's very easy to just build up different inputs and outputs and build up quite a complex shader without any programming knowledge at all. So we're really making it easy, not just for people that are experienced with 3D, but also people new to 3D. People that in the past may have been a bit intimidated and stuck to working just with 2D games. Now they're able to easily get into working with 3D content and all of the benefits that working in a 3D app brings you. So let's take a look at it a little bit in action here. Okay, so this is just a short demo, just showing some of that stuff in context. This is Unity, and we've built a character and a whole game. Now, again, if you're new to 3D, you'll probably not be aware that 3D is the easiest way to go from concept art to a textured, rigged, animatable model. And as I say, any object with up to 65,000 polys can just be exported as an FBX object, as you can see here. Or you can click to send to Unity, and there is no polygon cap whatsoever on any of the assets or scenes that you create. So you can just drag and drop objects like this directly into Unity. If you don't have a Unity project, it will build one for you. And as you can see, in a very easy workflow to bring assets in. As you're working with scene files, the Maya LT file format just helps you work and save your saving progress stuff. So you don't have to save out as FBX if you're halfway through building a model like we are here. So you save your files in Maya LT files format. And here you can see us just starting to build the character together using simple polygonal tools. Now, all of the functionality needed to build this character is available in just that one right-hand panel here. So this is a tool set that just provides you context-sensitive tools. You don't have to dive into sub-menus of Maya in any way. And as you can see, just access to things like selecting vertices or edges or loops and just building new geometry interactively is very, very easy to do with this simple panel. You'll find that you do not need to access any other feature in the Maya UI to just build and start to detail up and down this kind of content. So modeling is very easy in general. You'll see Maya LT is fully interactive, so if you need to dial in new bits of detail, if the arm isn't, if it doesn't have enough vertices or edges to deform correctly, you can dial all of that in directly. And again, as you can see, very easy to just bring out items of detail if your game engine or target platform can cater for a bit more geometry. So very, very simple modeling workflows, very easy to obviously create items from scratch. But also a lot of our customers are working with sculpting tools such as Mudbox. So we offer a product called Mudbox, which is a very simple to use 3D sculpting tool. But the output of these sculpting tools are multi-million polygon meshes, and these aren't useful to somebody that's trying to create lots of content in a mobile environment. So we have a range of retopology tools within Maya LT that essentially enables you to use a very high resolution asset, in this case, a 200,000 polygon head model, and you can use that as a live surface, so essentially a 3D canvas. And then using the retopo tools, as you can see, you can start to paint on or project on brand new geometry in a much more simplified form. So this makes it very easy to control where those polygons should be, detail where you need it, less detail in items that don't need that. As you can see, as we're pulling out polygons and making changes to the vertices, it's just mapping itself onto that high-res sculpt. So again, you don't have to be a fantastic low-poly modeler to get very quick, very clean, low-polygon models directly out to Maya LT. Again, when you're looking at animation now, we provide very simple IK tools. So the human IK system is great for if you're building biped or quadruped characters, anything with 2 or 4 legs. So you just map out exactly where you want your bones to be, where you want the character to form, and where you want your controls. And then a simple template just enables you to say, okay, I want that leg bone to match to the leg bone of the human IK template. You just match the bones together in a very visual, easy to use way. And then it will go ahead and build the human IK control rig. So this is a very simple control system that just provides all of the functionality you need in an IK solution, whether it's moving the foot, whether it's locking down certain aspects of the skeleton so you can animate cleanly different joints without feet sliding and moving around, or posing the character. We have a full body IK system that basically means as you move hands and feet, the IK solution flows through the entire skeleton, makes it easy for you to build up key poses. So here we've used human IK to quickly build a run cycle. All I've done is just 2 foot placements, and I'm just testing how this is going to look when it loops in-game. So again, I'm going to rely on some animation functionality to get this to loop and to make it look seamless as well. So anybody familiar with animating in Maya, they'll want a couple of key features. So the dope sheet, for instance, will showcase all of the keyframes I've developed, all of the mocap that I've applied to the character. And you can just copy and paste these and add and delete keyframes very easily. And just by copying and pasting, you can get a running character. Now, if you have any problems in the loop, and usually the first and end frame don't tie up perfectly, animators will rely on looking at the function curve, so a tangent of how that animation is actually executing. So here you'll be pleased to know that the powerful function curves toolset from Maya 2014 is still available in Maya LT to animators. So you can go in and just tweak and break handles and just make sure that the animation curves are very neat and tidy and flowing correctly. And then again, when we come back and look at this in the viewport and press play, we can just profile the character and make sure he's running smoothly. And this is ultimately what we want to take out now into our game engine and start to build the logic around it. So clicking Center Unity will take that animated character, it will take all the animation clips applied, it will take out any shaders that we've built, and it will just directly bring it into the working directory of your Unity product. If you're using animation, if you've got multiple clips, it'll automatically synthesize a blend tree and a state machine so that it understands how it should transition from one run cycle to him being stationary to him idling. So all of this complex animation work is just handled and passed directly by the FBX system. So you can see how easy it is to use a 3D tool to take a concept sketch, to build up a polygonal character, to then start to animate it very easily using the human IK system And all of that can just be clicked and taken into Unity with just a single key press. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for people new to 3D to get runtime components into their engine. I won't play that last bit of music, it's a bit loud. So with the product being games industry specific, we can actually update it a bit more regularly than we can a product that's trying to provide features to multiple disciplines like visual effects and animation and TV and film, for instance. So a couple of things we've recently released is that send to Unity one-click functionality. Before, we just had FBX export, which again you can still use, but if you're a Unity user, you'll find that's massively beneficial. And then we brought in some of the newest features from the recent subs drop from Maya, such as the retopology toolset, and improvements to booleans and various other little tweaks and enhancements that come as part of the standard Maya offering. So we do release updates to this very, very regularly and enable you to work with the latest versions simply. In terms of help and tutorials, we've built a whole ecosystem around Maya LT for people new or trying to develop casual or mobile games. So area.autodesk.com is our community site. If you just / and put Maya LT on the end, it will take you to our portal for all things Maya LT related. So this could be the latest tutorials and case studies. We also have a very active forum, and we have a marketplace for people that just want to put models, textures, animations that they've created and just share it with the rest of the community. So you could just go on and download for free lots of different models, textures, and just get up and running with royalty-free content very simply, just using this one site. So why would you use Maya LT instead of anything else? The user base is very strong. A lot of people learn Maya. A lot of people are coming from facilities, visual effects, or TV, or games developers that already use Maya. So they'll instantly be able to adapt to the Maya LT environment. The FBX workflow works with most game engines and most other 3D products too. So obviously you can build your content very easily and easily get that into a myriad different end results. And then we have new features coming that are specific to indie mobile casual developers as well. So the focus of the product is purely around your needs as well. And again, if you're developing for the iOS platform, it's likely that you're in a Mac environment, and Maya LT comes in both native Mac